So this one was really out of the blue. And shout out to one of our listeners, Ashley Schuler, who was like, okay, y'all got to talk about this. I was like, what's up?
Mm.
What happened? Right? Nah, the comments are lit. And I was like, who? Okay, I know of this person, but what? So, a backstory. So, there is this influencer on social media, right, called Rachel Hollis. I think that's her name. I don't even want to, when I really don't like a situation, I don't even like referring by their name, right?
Just give them the
But,
initials. RH.
right.
RH.
So let's show the video, but it's the captions for me. It's the
Mm.
caption for me. So just bear with me. Here is the video that has been getting thousands and thousands of comments and a lot of backlash. And you tell us your opinion.
Okay, yesterday I was doing a live stream and I mentioned that there's a sweet woman who comes to my house twice a week and cleans. She's my house cleaner. She cleans the toilets. Someone commented and said, "You are privileged AF." And I was like, "You're right. I'm super freaking privileged, but also I worked my ass off to have the money to have someone come twice a week and clean my toilets." And I told her that. And then she said, "Well, you're unrelatable." What is it about me that made you think I want to be relatable? No, sis, literally everything I do in my life is to live a life that most people can't relate to. Most people won't work this hard. Most people won't get up at 4 a.m. Most people won't fail publicly again and again just to reach the top of the mountain. Literally every woman I admire in history was unrelatable. If my life is relatable to most people, I'm doing it wrong.
Now,
Big corn. Big corns. Big corn. Big corns.
So I'm not like I thought that was lame. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought that was lame, but the caption for those who are on YouTube, you can see it, but for my audio listeners, I got y'all. She said, Harriet Tubman, RBG, Marie Curie, I don't even know how to say that. Oprah, who else? Moose, read the rest. You know, those are definitely
I can't even see it. It's small on my end, but yeah.
Amelia
Just
Earnhardt.
the first few that you just read, it's
Yeah,
like, okay.
okay.
The fact
Okay.
that you're going down that path, yeah.
So, listen, y'all know me first off for the name, so I apologize, right? My biggest issue, of course, is when you refer yourself to Harriet Tubman and Oprah. Off top, and I'm gonna be very blunt, and I'm cool with it, right? Ma'am, you are a Caucasian female, right, that is comparing yourself to Harriet Tubman. I don't think you went through slavery. Let's just stay there. Let's be honest with that. You there's no comparison. I don't think the people that you mentioned were trying to be unrelatable. I don't I don't think that was I think they tried to make history. I think they tried to create a path for those they try to do things so others didn't have to, right? They try to say, "Hey, this is what I did and you can too," which makes it relatable, which makes it to like, yo, if you could do it, I can too. I will follow her because they have similar backgrounds or similar stories or just the path of success and the drive, ambition that I want to be. Not this whole I'm trying to be unrelatable and the people I look up to, I don't I question how did you connect with Harriet Tubman? How sway drive maybe okay, ambition okay, because I'm not big on the whole I think people are people. I'm big on that. People are people. I don't really look at it as a race thing or anything like that. However, there's nothing about your story that connects. There's nothing and this is my thing. Let me bring it back. Let me bring it back. And we've talked about this. Sometimes you don't have to retaliate so quickly. Maybe you don't even have to retaliate at all. Another not so smart individual was that Derek Jacks guy. I don't like saying his name either, but after he got caught, and for those who don't know, right, as far as this relationship guru who got caught cheating on his wife, why are you a relationship guru and your relationship is trash? Okay, cool. Then a few days later, when he gets caught, he goes online, has his wife next to him, and proceeds to just talk back and try to answer all the questions that and address the situation, right? However, the way he did it and as close as he did, it actually pretty much canceled him out instead of necessarily help. Sometimes when we use our platforms, we have to be a little bit more strategic. We have to understand, and this is where the conversation that me and you had of once you are an influencer, are you holding the responsibility of a role model, right? And my problem with this is like you are aware of your influence. Like you're aware of it. I think both these two individuals are very aware of their influence, right? I think what she did was pretty much say, I don't care about none of y'all. I'm going to do my life, and it is what it is. Okay. If it was just a video, let's just say, if it was just a video, all right, boo. You live a lifestyle. That's how you feel. Cool. It is your vibe. But it's the caption for me that you are comparing your life of having a housekeeper to a whole journey and situation with slavery and that whole community with how Oprah was treated as well in her journey and her success. And you're sitting here saying we are the same. We are unrelatable. No, ma'am. No. I personally don't think that, but Moose.
Man, this is wrong on so many levels, right? If you were to make a checklist of how not to do content, make sure you use this example in there for anybody who is watching or taking notes, right? Let me tell you, aside from the fact that it's tone deaf, right? That's the way you would label something like that. Someone who is white, Caucasian. I like that Nicky used the sophisticated.
You know what I mean?
She said
You know what I mean?
Caucasian.
Caucasian. Because I don't want to make it into a race thing. So let's be politically correct.
Yeah. But, the tone deaf and then using the examples of some of the strongest, most influential Black females in our history, right? It's a bit of a stretch. Here are some of my beliefs on that, right? First off, when you're great at that level, you don't necessarily claim your greatness. You don't need to claim your greatness. When you're truly great, and we've heard this quote many times, people whose lives you've touched and impact, they will come chanting your name and letting you know that you are. You don't need to really drop your title or your accomplishments or the lifestyle that you live as a result of what you've done or the sacrifices you've made. Your results will speak for themselves. The people will chant your name. That's the first part. The second part of it is literally it's a desperate stretch for content. You can see it. It's just so obvious and blatant. It's a desperate stretch for content. It's you taking something that's completely not relevant and wanting to spin it back and say, okay, let me put this back out there, right? So that I can turn this into a lesson, which clearly it's not. In 2000 and I want to say 17 or 18, one of the missions or the values that I've kind of set for myself is, it was after my month of fast, it was after the month of Ramadan, and I said the biggest lesson that I took through fasting is that I have to prioritize character over content.
Yep.
You have to prioritize character over content. So as a personal brand, a business, whatever you're doing that you're utilizing social media for, ask yourself this question. Man, if this was the one and only piece of content that the world would see from me, would I be happy that that's the type of introduction that they get to know about me? Is this how you would want people to know about you? And the fact that that video is still up now, the fact that the comments are as crazy as they are, it just shows that it's an arrogance of like, you know what? I don't care. I am tone deaf and I'm going to ride it and reap the rewards of it. Because that's the other side of it that unfortunately we can't control, which is people are going to give her attention just to know what happened, just to respond to it. You know, we're speaking on it briefly here. We should send her an invoice just for giving her an opportunity to even, you know what I'm saying, get our light. But truthfully, though, this is more for our people in our community, just so that you know what not to do, right? And the lesson that I want to leave here is like, yo, really, truly, prioritize character over content so that if people were to meet you or one of your videos, when it blows up, right? What's the type of introduction you want to make to the world on that very first interaction? But everything else, man, it's just, yeah, it's too low.
The thing that I have, like, because I'm big on like having the confidence within yourself, right? So if you believe, right? If you believe within yourself, you stand next to these people or you're as great as these people, by all means, bravo to you, right? However, saying that you have a housekeeper, whatever it is, right? And you're saying, yo, I'm privileged, I'm like this, and I'm not relatable as these people. I don't think Harriet Tubman had a housekeeper. I don't think that is the vibe. I think she was one. I don't think she had one. Right?
That's real.
Now, if you were, and it's just understand, as an influencer, it is sensitive times. There's a lot of people that don't have tough skin, and you are reaching the masses, right? There's certain things, especially in the minority community, that you just should not say. You shouldn't. Yeah. Now, you could be angry at your follower who said that you were privileged. Then you handle that one-on-one. You DM that person. You have conversations with them through your comments. But the fact that you're using public humiliation is saying what about your leadership? Right? Like, what does that say? So you get pissed off from a follower and you humiliate them by making content pretty much indirectly calling them out, right? And then pretty much telling all your followers, I'm not here to relate with you. I don't want you to connect with me. I don't want you to feel like we are on the same level. And this goes so against what we speak about with branding, with the whole, like, you have to be a human. Like, people Absolutely. Connect with people. And we have to see that we can connect with you, that we could reach you, that we have similar interests or drive for a success or something, or you're literally showing me how it's supposed to be. You making having a housekeeper a goal is different. I should say it's just different.
And you know what's crazy? I don't even have a problem with the concept of a housekeeper, right?
Right.
Like that's how some people make a living.
Yeah.
I think what really got under my skin is the fact that she says she cleans my toilets. You know what I'm
Why?
saying? Like, because you're going to the lowest of lows to show what a person does. Like, what if you have housekeepers as a part of your community or your following that are willing to engage in your services and your products? You know, like it's just you're going to the bottom of the like. I don't know. For me, it's like I lose all respect for somebody like that because, like we talk about, there is this human element that we think is important because you're on the other side of your screen is an actual person. While you may not feel that way right now because COVID has kind of maybe jaded some people's perspectives, that's still reality. And for her to make that reference and then say, "Oh, my housekeeper cleans my toilets," there's like a deeper meaning behind that. That's just I don't even have words for it because I don't like to use any improper language, but that's just not cool, man.
Listen, if you do not want to take the responsibility of all races, all nationalities, all incomes, like maybe your type of brand isn't like it, you should rebrand yourself, right? And the only reason that we know of this person is because they are affiliated with people we know. I was
Right.
not following this person prior to, right?
Same here.
But, you know, what seemed to be genuine, what seemed to be, um, a kind person has now showed true self. And what I appreciate about social media is that eventually
Yeah.
fakeness will
It's gonna
come
come
out.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's
who
gonna
you
reveal
really
itself.
are is like, and there's a lot of people who do play that game of this polished kind of vibe. And this has nothing to do with race. This has just everything to do with how easy it is to be fake on social media and manipulate people to make people feel as if you are one way and that you care. But in all honesty, it's really about your life and what this brand can do to get you to the next level and not necessarily the people. Because just like how Moose said, this should have been taken down. Once you saw the reactions or the overall reactions, that's something that you should have taken down as a person of leadership, as a person of influence, if you really care about the people. But according to your video, you do not. And that is
Right.
okay. Then do what you do, right? But that really shows right there, one, how the fake will always come out, right? Two, how not to talk to your followers.
Straight up. Yeah. This got to be used as an example of how not to ever do content.
Yeah, how not to do content, how not to reply. And granted, you're not going to like everything your followers are going to say. You're not going to like every single comment, regardless if they are a troll or not. Just have a different perspective, grew up in a different environment, and just may not have the same mindset as you. You're not going to agree with everything, but as your influence grows, you have to learn to be the bigger person. You have to learn to grow with your influence. You have to mature as a human being because you have people that are looking up to you, looking at your movement and either being very at awe or more pushed back based off what you do. And so we gave this a little bit more time that we should have, but
Right.
at the same time, I want people to look at what this person did, what the male figure of her did, the relationship guru type situation, right? And learn that, you know what? First, not everything deserves a announcement, a comeback, a video addressing everything that has been said. Like, you needed your team at that point. You needed to let go of your phone and give it to somebody else. That that video from both ends should have never came out in the time that it did. Okay? You should have recorded it, save it, come back to it the next day and see, you know what? Let me get out of my feelings
Talk
because
about it.
that was a pure emotional video. And once you have such a brand of that caliber, you can't move off feelings. You have to move off facts and stats. You have to move off with the intentions of thinking of others. Like that could really affect and push back your brand. And if you don't necessarily care, like you said on your video, then what we're saying now is really irrelevant. But for those people who are trying to learn from this situation and learn from the Derek Jacks situation and that whole blahness, right? Is that there is a time and a strategic plan to address your followers about some things that have been addressed or brought to your attention. And you really have to think things through because people are seeking for what you have to say about the situation. And you don't necessarily want to be tone deaf.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And just for the record, while there may be some affiliates, this is not about either of these two individuals.
Mm-mm.
It's really to highlight the context of what happened and, you know, the lesson that we're trying to give to our community members, the people who tune into this podcast on our platform, as an example of what not to do. And respectfully, you know, we don't know them as individuals, so I do want to say that, but I just want to speak to the context of it. And this is the everyday problem that can destroy the most successful businesses, the most successful personal brands. It's something as an oversight that is that small that you might think is so regular in your world that can completely destroy much of what you worked hard to build. So that's the main lesson that I want, you know, our community members to walk away with from this, because at the end of the day, it's not about those individuals. At least, and I'm sure you feel the same. It's definitely not that way for me.
No, it's not about the individuals. It's just the fact that of the influence that you have. Like,
100%.
what does
100%.
what does that tell for your followers? But at the end of the day, it's like I'm not trying to complain about it. I'm not trying to downplay anybody, but even though I semi did, and that's okay, right? But at the end of the day, like I'm going to look at it like, what can I do different? Because I
That's it.
can't just
That's
talk
it.
about it. I have to be the change. As a female myself, I can't say something reckless and then try to double down on it and be like, well, these females did it, and so I can too. No,
Right.
they had other situations that probably had nothing to do with a housekeeper. Nothing. Nothing of their actions was the same just because of what money was allowed to give them. That was a completely slight flex, and not even a slight flex that she did. That was, this is what I can do. I work my behind off. That's, and if you can't relate with that, this is not for you, and I'm not trying to be for you. Cool. Then that's cool. But for me, I'm going to take this as like, well, if you don't want to talk to that audience, hello, I will. And other people will be like, I'll take those that you're not connecting with and probably beat you. Just saying. Yes, I was a little upset about this. I apologize. And it's nothing personal. I just don't like when people do that. I don't like when people downplay other females, downplay anybody just because of the way they live based off maybe the results they've done. It doesn't make you a better person. Your goal should never be, I'm not relatable. That shouldn't be a goal in life. I'm trying never to be relatable to you.